friends, welcome to my little show about motorsports I like to call In the Pits with me, StockCar Scott. Here each Wednesday on the YouTube during racing season when I feel like it. Well, we got to see some racing this weekend, didn't we? The weather up here has punished us enough and decided to give us race fans a little break. And not just here in the great weird Northwest. They got a break in Virginia, but not Friday. Friday rain washed out qualifying for the 38 cars that showed up for the Monster Energy Cup Martinsville 500. That was the smallest cup field I can remember since the old NASCAR short track mini seasons when fields were purposely that size. I wish NASCAR would swap the Martinsville and Texas spring dates so there'd be a Martinsville, Bristol, Richmond short track mini season once again. That would be nice for us old throwback fans. But it was nice weather there at Martinsville on Saturday when the Camping World trucks raced. Chase Elliott won in a one-off deal with Gallagher Motorsports, beating his teammate for the day, defending truck champion Johnny Sauter, in whose second place finish keeps him in the lead of the Camping World Truck Series points. The guy second in points in the Toads number 4 Tundra, Christopher Bale, finished third in the race with the next truck race in mid-May at Kansas Speedway. After the truck race and after checking the weather online for Monroe on a variety of sources, I packed up the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Limited Edition 2004 Chevrolet Monte Carlo SS with my race gear and video camera, then headed north on I-5 and east on US Highway 2 to Evergreen Speedway, the center of racing in the great weird Northwest, for the opening night of racing for the 2017 season. But just before I left, I had to watch a little late model practice from south of here. No, not at South Speedway, who I will get to shortly, but online from my home track of Huntsville Speedway in Alabama, thanks to a friend of my younger brother. This friend is an announcer there at Huntsville Speedway. So here is a little shout out to a friend back home, Chris Thornton. Hey, how you doing? Who tells the race fans there in the grandstands about all of the big stars in the fast cars. Thanks to Chris and thanks to Huntsville Speedway, the very first racetrack I ever attended. Well, back to the last track that I attended, Evergreen Speedway. I got there in time for the fan meet and greet there on the front stretch on Saturday, which turned out to be a good thing because of how the night's schedule was changed because of the threatening weather. With rain seemingly imminent, the Super Late Model 100 was run as the first feature just after all the other classes ran their heat races, which was great. I enjoyed it, even though the rain never reached the racetrack, but later I heard that it did get pretty close. The drawback to the Super Late Models running first, because, folks, there's always a drawback, was that by the end of the last feature, the pits were almost devoid of Super Late Model drivers. Most of the drivers from the other classes were also gone, except for the ones hanging on for trophy ceremonies. But I can't blame them. They had been there all day or even longer. And, you know, I'll get a chance to see them in other races. So, no biggie. It's a long season. But I did get to see the Honey Badger at the meet and greet, and he explained about his new number 5Z, which is actually a throwback to his championship go-karting days. So We hope that the new good luck will come with an old number for the Honey Badger there. Unfortunately, that was not the case for Andy on Saturday night. Even though his qualifying time of 7th got him a good starting position on the second row with the invert in a robust 21-car field for the first race of the season. After the meet and greet, I had time to enjoy my first chili cheese fries of the 2017 racing season. The chili cheese fries of Evergreen Speedway's concession are very good, with nice, tasty, thick-cut fries and a decent serving size. I can sincerely recommend this wonderful trackside treat. As I finished my yummy treat, the meet and greet was winding down, so I had time to ready the camera for heat races. The big crowd of Seahawks fans seemed to enjoy these short, preliminary, rapid-fire little races we regular fans know as the heats. Then after the heat races, because rain was in the forecast, the management made a bold decision and ran the 100-lap super late model feature first. I must say, I think that the move paid off for Evergreen, because I was still seeing a bunch of concession customers almost up to the fireworks finale. The 100-lap feature itself was great. It may have had the longest super late model green flag run I have ever seen at Evergreen. Oh, there was a spin and a wreck in turn 2 with the first wave of the green flag that was to start the race that damaged Shane Harding's number 39 ride pretty badly. And also, Tom Barrow sustained damage that would eventually get him out of the race early. But they did actually get a almost 90-lap run in without yellow. I mean, it was amazing. During this long run, others fell to the wayside, like Terrible Tim McDougal, his brother Tommy Rasmussen, and Pastor Jeff Knight, with various mechanical gremlins. And the Honey Badger joined them when his engine blew early in the event. Another favorite of mine, Scott Burby, ran around in the back all night, several laps down, but his car looked like it was in one piece at the end of the night, so I am sure it was a good night for him. Molly Helmuth, another favorite, ran well all race on the lead lap, but never challenged for the lead, and she finished 7th. Shane Harding, that got wrecked early in the first lap that didn't count, came back for a 6th place finish, and Tyler Baker finished 4th with his car that I understand he wrecked in practice. The big wreck of the race came at lap 90 when rookie to the super late model division, Chad Fitzpatrick, was running, I think 5th or 6th, and had problems in turn 3 that got him turned around backwards and left him sitting there as Donnie Wannett was trying to get around a slower car, and so they got together real hard and ended both drivers' chances for a decent finish on opening night. They were both okay after the accident, but I bet sore the next day. After that, the field got going again with about 10 laps to go, but a few laps later, Daniel Bud Moore, who had been running second to Tyler Tanner most of the night, had the engine expire in his grocery outlet number 16. So this opened up a battle for second to veteran Northwest late model driver Travis Bennett and young Evergreen super late model rookie of the year for 2016 Trenton Moriarty, with old age and experience winning out over youthful exuberation. Okay, but the winner, leading I think every lap of the 100 run, was another favorite of mine, young Tyler Tanner, whom I have seen race at my favorite track in my home state, Talladega Super Speedway. When I saw him a few years ago in the trucks on the trip home, you know, it was fun cheering for someone that I knew then in Alabama, as well as last Saturday night here in Washington State. I hope to see more of Tyler racing this season, but I'll have to check on what his schedule is. After the exciting 100-lap feature, all of the other classes got to run without a drop of rain. Dario Rytic won in Youth Hornets, while my new buddy Nick Beecher won in regular Hornets. Nat Barber picked up where he left off last year with another win in mini stocks. But what got my interest in mini stocks was the return of the Pacer Racer with a new driver, Wild Wyatt Gardner. And I hope Wyatt does well in that wonderful old Dennis Schaefer creation. You know, he has a new fan right here with StockCar Scott. I've already got his sticker on the board back behind me. Got to talk to Wyatt for a little bit during the meet and greet, and he let me know that he came up through dirt racing locally and that he wanted to try out asphalt racing and mini stocks, so picked up Schaefer's old car. Great to see it on the track. Also getting the crowd's attention during the mini stock race was a bit of a fight between a couple of regular drivers who should know better. Luckily, no one was arrested, and the crowd cheered wildly. Steve Woods held off Roger Drake to win the street stock season opener, and then I actually stayed around to see Chris Curtis win the Outlaw Figure 8 20-lap main, because all races matter. During the fireworks, it didn't really matter. The fireworks that were there for Seahawks fans, I headed for the pits. But like I said, most everyone was gone. But it was good to be at the track and see a lot of my racing friends again and begin yet another season of fun up here and racing in the Northwest. And I understand the weather permitted racing to go on as scheduled at that fast little 3/8 mile racetrack to our south on Saturday as well. So I'll quickly go through some of their results. These results come courtesy of the South Sound Speedway website, www.southsoundspeedway.com. Don Briggs Sr. won the first Bumblebee main, and Mike Olson won the second Bumblebee main. Brad Borton won both hobby stock mains, and Arlen Long won both late model mains. Legends also ran with Devin West winning the first main and Dwayne Swanson winning their second main. The car counts were pretty good for most of the classes, and I bet it was a fun night because all races matter, and it was a double main night. So if you had a favorite driver in one of those classes, you hopefully got to see them race twice. Next weekend there at South Sound Speedway, they will have mini stocks, baby grands, bumblebees again, and vintage modifieds, while Evergreen is hosting Scout Night with street stocks again, Pro 4 trucks, a group of racers I really like, two types of figure 8s, and drifting. Of course, if I am anywhere next Saturday, it will be at Yakima Speedway for the preliminary races of the 51st Apple Cup. But I get ahead of myself. Take a little break. After a fun night at the races on Saturday, I got up early Sunday morning to watch the Martinsville 500. And what I said about the new format last week being easy to record, I spoke too soon. But it was an interesting race. One of the stages was ended in a mighty dicey fashion there when Danica's boyfriend refused to go quietly a lap down to the Toad, which cost Busch the stage win and playoff points. The Toad was hopping mad. Sorry race fans, I just had to use that one. Dale Earnhardt Jr. ran back in the pack for most of the day, then got in a chain reaction wreck caused by Danica. I think he finished like 34th, and I think I'm getting tired of Danica. Her teammate, Kevin Harvick, my younger brother's favorite driver, didn't have a stellar day, finishing 20th. While local favorite, Casey Kane, did a little better with a 14th place finish. His teammate, though, Chase Elliott, my oldest brother's favorite, finished much better in 3rd, and he even had a stage win that he took away from the Toad. But a Ford won out the day when bad Brad Keselowski brought home the grandfather's clock from Martinsville for Ford for the first time in well over a decade. The next Monster Energy Cup race is this Sunday at Texas Motor Speedway, with the Xfinity Series on Saturday during Apple Cup weekend. So my video recorder will be getting a workout at home. I'll also have the F1 Grand Prix in China and the K&N East race at Greenville Pickens to record. Racing season is picking up steam, folks. I think there's also an Indy race on, I think, the streets of Long Beach. And even though all races matter, sometimes it is difficult fitting all of them in. There are only so many hours in a day. I was lucky that last Monday, NBCSN replayed the K&N West race, the Irwindale Twin 100s from last week, because I missed recording them on Saturday and while I was up at the races, and a couple of Washington drivers were featured. Garrett Archer, who was 3rd in the first race, and I think 7th in the second race, I got an interview, and that Bihar girl from Spokane, who she also finished well there at both of the twin 100 lappers there. So it was nice to get to see some local drivers get a little screen time there on NBCSN. Oh, and Davey Gill and his boy Todd won both the races there in Irwindale, and it earned him some extra cash bonus there because I think he had won the race before. The next date for the K&N West Series is next month, May 13th, a little closer to home at Spokane Raceway. You know, I wouldn't mind attending that show, but there are other races to think about this month with Apple Cup this weekend and more super late models at both Western Washington tracks on Easter weekend. So, you race fans have a bunch of racing to watch and choose from in the coming weeks as the season gets going. But next is Apple Cup weekend with qualifying and preliminary races and heats on Saturday, along with the Pro 4 Late Model Series main event. Then Sunday is the big day with the Legends main, the 100 lap main for my favorite local touring series, the West Coast Late Models, and the 51st running of the Apple Cup for Northwest Super Late Models. It is always an interesting race and is included in your $125 West Coast Late Model Series season pass that will get you into all 11 events in the 4 different Washington venues that they're going to be at this year. The West Coast Late Models have added 2 tracks for the 2017 season, so the new version of the season pass is well worth it for true race fans. I plan to be at all 11 West Coast Late Model Series events this year, and I can highly recommend the $125 season pass to help you afford attending all 11 events of a great little local touring series. You can get information on the season passes at their website at www.westcoastlatemodels.net/contact. Contact Sarah there. She told me that they still have 10 left, so go now and do it. Then when I can see you race fans all season long at West Coast Late Model Series events. Well, that about covers it for this week. It was great to get to see many of my racing friends again this weekend, like Sherry and Bradley and Jerome, Tony, Ride, Rachel, Mike Jr., and so many others there at Evergreen. And I understand I was seen by Earl. I hope to get to see many more race fans this weekend at the 51st Apple Cup at Yakadega. So until next time, I hope you get out and see some racing somewhere. South Sound Speedway, like I said, has mini stocks, baby grands, vintage modifieds, and bumblebees. And Scout Night at Evergreen Speedway has two types of figure eights, those fast little Pro 4 trucks, street stocks, and drifting. So go see some racing somewhere, and then send the results to In the Pits with StockCar Scott, my Facebook page there, and get a shout out on the next show, like the fellas up at Western Speedway in British Columbia are planning to do when they get to racing next month. So when is the next show, race fans? Yep, next Wednesday here on the YouTube, same stock car time, same stock car channel. You know, if I feel like it. Thanks again, and please tune in again next week.